Thank you and a very good evening to you. Lilian Muli Kanene back in Nairobi. Here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, the 24th ordinary session of the African heads of state and government has come to a close. And the push for the establishment of a powerful and influential African Court of Justice that was spearheaded by Kenya seems to have borne some fruit. Now, Guinea Bissau and Benin have joined Kenya in the list of nations that have signed in support of the ratification of the Malabo Protocol that seeks to expand the mandate and jurisdiction of the African Court of Justice to enable it handle international crimes and other crimes against humanity that are currently in the domain of the International Criminal Court at The Hague. At least 15 out of the 54 nations in the continent are required to sign in support of the ratification of the Malabo Protocol that will establish an African Court of Justice with an expanded mandate.
We have taken a very, very strong position on the need for us to be able to establish an African court and for Africa to begin taking responsibilities of our own actions. We have been very clear that as a continent we are not for impunity, we are for justice, we are for reconciliation, and we believe that we need an institution that is going to be responsive to Africa's needs and that will be able to address itself to Africa's issues without any undue influence from other quarters.
And other than Kenya, Guinea Bissau and Benin that have already put pen to paper on the ratification of the Malabo Protocol, at least 9 more nations have pledged to follow suit. They are Mauritania, Sudan, DRC Congo, Uganda, Zimbabwe, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Burundi and Rwanda.
As soon as we made our statement, at the Council of Ministers we signed. But there was no single country I recall that said anything negative about the court. And if they did, it would actually be very interesting for me because their experts were here. This was not a document that was drawn up by 1 or 2 countries. It was drawn up by the majority of African countries.
But critics of the proposed African Court of Justice with an expanded mandate have termed it an attempt by the African leaders to perpetuate and entrench impunity. The Malabo Protocol provides that sitting heads of state and other senior government officials will be insulated from prosecution.
All these other regions have institutions. Does that mean that you're withdrawing from an international institution? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And you know, we will need to develop our institutions. I'm sorry. And we don't owe anybody an apology. We don't owe anybody an apology, right? If you put an extra kitchen in your house, do you need to explain to the rest of the world? No. We do not need to apologize to anybody.
But the newly elected chairman of the African Union, Robert Mugabe, who is Zimbabwe's president, has made it clear that when the African leaders meet in South Africa in June this year, top on the agenda will be the question of proposing that the African countries pull out en masse from the International Criminal Court.
Friends we shall have, yes, but imperialists and colonialists no more. Africa is for Africans. Let us sing.
The ongoing case against Deputy President William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang at The Hague has also featured during the just concluded Addis Ababa meeting. President Uhuru Kenyatta urging the African leaders to continue piling pressure on the International Criminal Court to drop the charges against Ruto and Sang, just the same way they did in the case that he was facing at The Hague.
We hope that they will listen, and we know very clearly that not only is he innocent, the evidence against him is collapsing, and what we have said is we continue to request the African Union to continue supporting us as we continue to battle with this issue and ensure that justice is done, not just for the victims, but also for the suspects. We want a situation where fairness is done. And we know he is innocent, we believe he is innocent, and we have asked the African brothers and sisters to continue supporting us as we battle this case going forward.
Focus now shifts to the South African meeting in June this year to see whether the African leaders will heed to Mugabe's call and pull the countries that are signatories to the Rome Statute out of the ICC. That's all for now from Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. My name is Francis Gachuri, reporting for Citizen Weekend.